Welcome back. There is no doubt we could all slow down a little and, make some real connections. In the book, Modern Hippie Table, the recipes and menus are perfect for entertaining simply and beautifully. And I recently caught up with Lauren Thomas, the author, as she showed me how to build a beautiful charcuterie board for fall. I am looking at what you've got started there so far, and I'm in love. I love the pumpkins, the artichoke. This is a real fall-themed charcuterie, right?
It is. And there's two things to really remember. You just take what's in season and you go from there. For example, there's pears and kiwi. So what I love to do is I love to take whole fruits and I love to cut them in half so that they're just make a beautiful presentation on the board. And so I've started with that, as you can see. I've even got a full artichoke because it was so beautiful.
I think it's a really fun thing to do. I mean, no one's going to eat the artichoke, obviously, but it's a beautiful design. And it does say, hey, look at this, look at nature. It's so inviting. So I have a question that I've always wondered. How do you choose the cheeses and how many do you choose?
That's a good idea. I like to go with a hard cheese and a soft cheese, typically, depending on the size of the board. And in this case, that's exactly what I have. I also have a dip in the middle, a spinach artichoke dip, because when I was walking through the store, it looked very garden-esque. There's kale and spinach. They have a Boursin cheese that I'm going to put on the board, which is my soft cheese, because again, it had chives in it and it looks beautiful.
Yes.
Then I also found this cheese at my local market that has sliced pistachios in it. And,
wow.
Those things that looked, oh my gosh, my green themes. As you can see, I've got a very green gardeny theme. And I've also strategically placed some of the fruits, like the grapes, off of the board. So it looks like a vine.
I love it. Like it's like the bounty is overflowing. It looks like a cornucopia, if you will.
Exactly. And you can see I have some gourds. I had some pears in my kitchen and they looked beautiful. And so I just really like to take some of what I have, and my theme typically is colors, because it just looks beautiful when you don't throw a bunch of different colored cheeses and a bunch of different fruits. There is kind of a rhyme and a reason.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. What are some other must-haves when it comes to a board?
Oh my goodness. Well, you're talking to someone who loves to put fresh flowers in their boards. So I love to cut, roses or any kind of flowers that I have from around my house, cut a few buds and stick them in the board. And it just happened to go so beautifully today with my secret garden theme. I don't know if you can see, they're just country roses. They're
beautiful.
They're vintage. And I just tuck them into the edges. And so as I'm talking to you here and putting my delicious veggies on the board, you'll start to see it come together. So I've got some flower, some whites and greens here. And then when I chose my cured meats, this beautiful sliced ham is very pale pink and matched my roses.
You know what? I didn't even think about. I always think when it comes to charcuterie, you have to use like a salami.
Yes.
But I love the fact that you threw the cured ham on there. That's genius. And you just had the deli chop it up for you?
Yep, very thin. So it looks like prosciutto. And I also have, some lighter color salami that I'm going to, tuck in over here. And as I put this together, it just, everything starts to come together
like right before my very eyes. This is so beautiful. I have to ask, your book is called The Modern Hippie Table. What does it mean to be a modern hippie?
Modern hippie is just a term for going back to the day where people slowed down and showed up for each other, sat down at the table together, and made time to listen to each other's day. So it's more of a tribute of bringing that back to modern times. And that's why I use a lot of tips throughout my book for the hostess to enjoy herself and afford herself time so that she does enjoy cooking for her family and that she does prioritize, he or she prioritizes showing up for their family and also gathering friends. It's a lost art to make time and slow down. And so that's really what the theme of the book is all about.
That connection, man, so important. Tell me about your book. What are the recipes in there?
So my book has not only over 70 recipes, but there's all kinds of tips on charcuterie, tablescaping, and hosting and entertaining. And then on top of that, I have menus sprinkled throughout the book to help with giving themed dinners or showers or brunches or even game nights. And in those little menus, it talks about how to set the scene as well. So it really makes it easy to not have to look through a cookbook and try to piece together all of those little items.
So true. And I know that everyone loves charcuterie right now, but sometimes it's really hard to find something that kind of gives you a really simple, this is how you do it. And I wanted to ask you about Christmas time and what kind of boards there, but I guess I'm just going to have to get the book to find out. That's right. And so thanks to her for showing us how to make that beautiful board.
That was so pretty.
We loved so many things in the book. And I was really focused on one easy recipe.
Yes.
That I thought I would try because it looked just so easy peasy lemon squeezy. It just said, it screamed me.
Yeah. This is a super easy recipe.
So producer Susie is here to help me with Lauren's hot dog wraps with peach mustard sauce. Now, I love these. It's like elevated pigs in a blanket, perfect for gatherings. We make these every Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Because
so you're already a pro.
I am a pro. I already know. Yeah. Well, I am sort of, but I got to be honest. Yeah. How much do you hate opening a package of crescent rolls?
I actually think it's kind of fun.
Okay, because I don't mind it, but
so
I have
a sister. My
sister-in-law, she is terrified. When she opens it, she's like, I just.
There you go.
I just whack it. I whack it on there. That way.
Bob's your uncle.
You know what? My uncle's actually Mark, but Bob would also agree with this because here's the deal: when you're doing that, you're not like nah. You just get it out of the way.
Yeah, there is something satisfying. Okay, this recipe has 4 ingredients.
You're welcome.
Crescent rolls.
Yes.
These are called Little Smokies.
Little Smokies.
Farms.
L-I-L apostrophe.
You can use a lot of other ones. They actually had ones with cheddar. I just wasn't sure how those would taste, so I got these are just the beef
Don't
ones.
make it fancy.
No.
And please tell everyone how you had a hard time locating them in the grocery store.
I couldn't find these, and then I realized I was looking at all the fancy elevated meats, and these are just over by the bacon. So
they're just over by the bacon. There you go.
Hanging out by the bacon. So those are the 2 ingredients, and then the other 2 are for the sauce, which is spicy brown mustard and peach jelly, which we'll get to in a minute. So.
FYI, also make sure you keep your dough refrigerated before doing this because it's not easy now that it's kind of
it's sat out in the lights for a minute. But so this is actually one I was thinking kids could help with, and also you can make mass amounts of them quickly. I mean, really within probably 15 minutes, and they cook for about 12. So
yeah, I mean
that's with cooking time.
Okay. So when you finally get them unrolled,
So as you know, they come in these little triangles. Yes. I actually like to eat the dough too. And you're going to cut each triangle
the dough raw?
in half that way. I do like a little bit of raw dough.
Wait, you cut it? Don't eat that.
Cut it in half that way, so you're going to have 2 out of each one.
What? No, that doesn't seem right.
I know, but it's too much dough. Trust me. Okay.
I don't believe you.
I know. Trust me. Just
I see what you're saying.
Like
okay. All right.
And then you're just going to roll up the little smokies, starting from the big end.
I'm not going to lie, Susie. I do it the other way, and your way is much better.
Is it?
Okay. I actually was making fun of you because you picked this recipe for me. That's the truth. She picked it. And
I knew immediately
I actually
this
learned
was the one
something.
she would pick. Yeah.
I actually learned
So look,
something.
all you're doing is you're rolling them up, pressing them down. Look how easy that is.
Oh, that is. Okay, wait. Let me just get the cut one more time. So you just take it and
so you have
it's already perforated.
It's already, and then you're just going to cut each one of those in
half. Like that, right?
Yeah. And
is there like an angle?
No, however you want it. And mostly it's because these Little Smokies, I like to say
Little Smokies.
They don't need that much dough because this is also going to bake and expand. Yeah.
All right, so the sauce.
So easy.
Sauce is very complex.
Very complex. So these are going to bake for like 375 for 12 minutes.
Okay.
And you're done, and they come out beautifully brown. Okay, this sauce, very complex. This is elevated, which is one of the things I love about her book is she has some easy things that still are fun.
Yeah.
All it is a 1/4 cup of spicy brown mustard.
Okay.
Look at you rolling away in the Little Smokies.
This is lunch, by the way. So.
And peach jelly. This is actually peach preserve, so it's a little bit thicker. So, and that's it, and you're just kind of elevating it. You can actually play with the sauces. Maybe there's another combination you like, but I think it's the kick of the mustard and then a little bit of that citrus with the peach.
That's really good.
Is it good?
And the little sweetness too.
Yeah.
This is a great, honestly, super easy.
Look
great.
how easy that was.
If I hadn't already planned to make beer cheese for book club this week, this is what y'all have having for book club. All right.